This is my custom DIY U67 style mic that I refer to as the Unobtainium because you can't get one. But it turns out that maybe you can. Stick around.
From the mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov.
Of the tube mics in my collection, this by far is my favorite, the U67 style Unobtainium. I mean, I really love the warmth of this sound. I love the depth of this sound. Oh, hey, before I forget, don't forget to check out my brand new book, The Modern Voiceover Career Owner's Manual. It's available on Amazon for pre-order. It comes out May 15th, 2025. So, the book is not just about gear. It's about the craft of voiceover and getting an edge over your competition. And one of the ways to get an edge over your competition is to have really at your disposal, like great tone. And what I love about tube mics is that you do get this rich, warm tone. Now, often I find that the tube mic sound is a little bit too gooey. It's a little bit too soft in the transients for the type of commercial voiceover I do. If I was going to use a tube mic for commercial stuff, it would definitely be this one. But I find like this mic would be really perfect. Like this nice warmer sound than you would get on a FET mic is great for like an audiobook or a long-form narration where you don't want to be fatiguing to the ear. Now, a lot of times, like the sound that you will get on a FET mic, like on a U87 or a 416, over a longer period of time, it could get like fatiguing to the ear because it's so like forward in that way, right? It's there to get your attention. It's perfect for a 30-second spot. It's perfect for a shorter narration, but for an audiobook, I would use something like this. Now, this mic was a DIY build. It was designed by a gentleman named Ruud van Steenis. I discovered it on Group DIY. Like literally like an hour after he posted about creating this mic, I was messaging him and I'm like, I need to make this mic. And so this is actually like such a simple mic on the inside. And the key to this thing is that it does use the same tube as a 67. It's not a 67, like the interior of it is not a 67. It's a very, very simple circuit, but it uses the EF86. And this one in particular, here I have a second one here because what I have in this mic is actually like this 1966 Mullard from Holland. And these things are great. I got this one from Christian Whitmore, ProAudioTubes, a.k.a. Bowie. Everybody knows him as Bowie. So I got this tube from Bowie, and I think it cost me like $90. But it's the difference that it makes when you put in a really great tube. And that's the thing about Bowie, is that he really knows his tube. So he knows exactly, like if you're like, I want this kind of tone, he's like, you need this kind of tube. And so before, when I was building this mic, I had a generic like tube in there, like whatever like the cheapest tube was, Groove Tubes or something like that. And then when I put the Mullard in there, it was like really like going through the looking glass. It was like the soundscape just like really widened and it was like more depth. And, don't let anybody tell you that there's no difference in tubes, the way they sound. Because a great vintage tube, the thing is, with these tubes is like, they made these old tubes out of materials that you can't make stuff out of anymore. So there's a certain sort of like euphonic beauty to these old tubes that new tubes can't touch. So, if you try to tell me that tubes don't sound different, all tubes sound alike, you're not going to get me to change my perspective of my experience, but you certainly will make me question yours. But the beauty of having this tube in this simple circuit is that you really get like the full sound of the tube. I mean, we're running this tube at 120 volts. Powering the filament at like 6.3 volts. And so we're really getting like what this tube has to offer. And the circuit is so simple. Now, when I say that this mic was called the Unobtainium, it was because I originally built 3 of them. And so I have one. Blake Morgan has the second one. And you can hear it actually, it's the main vocal mic on the new Yonada album. And Chris Barron from the Spin Doctors has the third one. Those are the only 3 just like this one. on the planet. But what and people had asked me before, they're like, can you build me a mic like this? And I'm like, no. But I found out because, I kind of lost track of the mic, but I found out that this is actually really cool. So what this mic is it's the prototype for the same mic that you can find on Mic&Mod, their M67 DIY microphone kit, which was of course designed by Ruud van Steenis. So he designed all the mics, all the new mics on Mic&Mod. Now, I know, and look how simple this circuit is. I mean, it's really super simple. Look at that. And then it's just a tube. So this version, the one you're hearing, is a little bit different. I don't have the big BV12 transformer in there. I have a 3U audio transformer in there. And a couple of different style capacitors. But yeah, you can get this kit from Mic&Mod for 699 euros. I think what you get is really cool. Now, I'm not... This is not a Mic&Mod endorsement. I'm not being compensated or prompted or anything, but I'm just telling you where you can actually find this mic project, this DIY mic project, to end up with a mic like this. So, and again, it was a pretty easy build. And when you build a tube mic, of course, you were dealing with high voltages that could potentially kill you. So I should throw that in as a disclaimer. Building a tube mic should not be the first DIY mic kit that you build. But if you're capable of, if you've done some DIY mic building before, if you look at here, let me just show you again. Really, there's not a whole lot of parts going on here. Here's a cheap generic tube and a capsule that they provide. I'm sure you can choose a better capsule. Oh yeah, you can. You can choose a better capsule. They have a premium capsule, which adds 50 euros to it. So, yeah. So, before people were like, where can I get it? I'm like, you can't, but I guess now you can if you're into DIY. Now, this mic, I think this mic is super cool because for me, like, what I don't like about an actual U67, and I know this might be heresy, but because I don't do music. For music, I would be all over it. But a 67 is just a little too soft on the top for me. Like usually I don't feel like it's as aggressive for the type of voiceover that I do. But this mic has more of a high upper mid and high end lift than a regular 67 does. You're hearing it with no EQ on it. So it has almost I hesitate to call it a hybrid of a 67 and an 87 sound, but that might be the best way to describe it. So it doesn't sound exactly like a 67. And I don't know if Ruud van Steenis, if Mr. Van Steenis has modified the M67 to sound more like a what you would expect a vintage 67 to sound like. And I think the bigger transformer will give you a bigger sound, so it probably does lean more toward a 67 than this sound, this 67-87 kind of hybrid. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this, and I wanted to mention that because occasionally somebody will ask me. And so now you can build one yourself. So yeah, I'm digging this mic. I am. And here's the other thing. Actually, this is the other thing about using a tube mic for voiceover. What I usually like to do is like when you plug in a tube mic, right? I mean, the sound it might take like a minute to warm up. It may take 30 seconds before you hear any audio through the mic. But what happens is when you start to power up the tube, it actually takes a moment for the tube to get up to speed. Really, you're waiting for the tube to get up to the optimal point where the electrons are firing off the plate at a consistent rate. It's called thermonic emission. So once you reach thermonic emission, your tube is working at its finest. And a lot of times I find that if you take a tube mic, like this mic, I plugged it in overnight to warm it up. And it definitely sounds a little bit warmer. It sounds a little bit more like in the pocket than it did in the first couple of minutes after I powered it up. So that's kind of one of the drawbacks of using a tube mic for voiceover is that when you turn it on for the first time, it sounds a little bit different. It doesn't sound quite as smooth as it does if it's been powered on for like 24 hours. Now, the other thing that happened was when I powered this on for the first time, I was sitting there, I had it powered on, I was in the booth, I was working on something else and just checking on it. And this tube, the tube that I had in it, actually kind of futzed out on me. So this is the tube that I originally had in the mic several years ago. So, that's the thing. It's like the tube, and I was like, oh no. And so I luckily had a spare, an exact copy spare, because I bought two from Bowie. And but that's the other thing. When using a tube mic for voiceover comes with the potential issue that if your tube does fail unexpectedly during a session, then you have to you have to power down your mic. You have to hope that you have another tube, and it probably won't sound the same as the tube that's in there. So that kind of worries me, like taking that worry out of the out of the situation, out of the equation. The equation, situation, occasion, gives me more comfort in knowing that I don't have to worry about a tube. So, while tube mics are great, and you can definitely find use for them in voiceover, it's not my main swerve, but I do love this mic. So anyway, let me know what you think of the Unobtainium. And let me know if you end up getting this Mic&Mod project. And hold on. You know what? I believe you can buy it already. Oh no, it only comes as a kit. I thought maybe you could buy it already built. Maybe you can. I don't know. Go check out their website and let me know what you think. All right, until next time. This is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, fading to black.